Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how you can change the background of your header in your Squarespace website. If you haven't already got a copy of my Squarespace website checklist, I'll leave a link in the description box below. You can grab a copy for free, and if you're building your own website on Squarespace, you can follow along with all the steps. I want to change the background of my header and navigation menu today, so I'll show you how to do that. The first thing we need to do is click Edit. And the reason I want to change the background color is because I added this logo in a previous video. I'll link that video below if you want to learn how to add a logo to your website. But the background image is really distracting from the logo, and I think that you can't really see what the logo is about there. So I want to change it from this background image just to a solid color. So in order to do that, first I'm going to roll over the header and I'm going to click on Site Header, and then over on the right hand side over here I'm going to click on Edit Design, and it will bring up a pop-up where we can customize the design of the header, and there's lots of different options here which I'm going to cover in another video, and I will link that in the description box below as well. But today I just want to focus on the color and the background. So we're going to click over onto the color tab, and this drop down that comes up with three options: adaptive, gradient and solid. And adaptive has a tick next to it. So currently our header background is set to adaptive. All that means is that it's just pulling from whichever section is underneath the header. So this will be different for every page, but what the header will do is it will just pull. So if it's a solid color, say it's black, it will just be black. If there's a background image on the section that's below it, it will continue the image up into the header, which is currently what's happening now. So if I click back on Edit Design and we go back to color, that's adaptive. Now the other options here are solid. So if I've clicked on solid, you can see that now I do have a solid background color to my header, which I think looks a lot better. The logo really pops now. You can see the colors and you can read what it says. I think it's also easier to read the navigation, and you can change the color of the background by clicking on this circle icon next to background color. So if you click on that, it will bring up your core 5 colors out of your color palette. So you can choose one of those, or you can choose a custom color and use the color picker to find the color that you want it to be. I do like to stick to my palette for a more cohesive look on my website, and I do like this off-white color that it currently is, so I'm going to keep it like that. You've also got the option here to change the opacity. So if you can use this slider, and you can see if I slide it down, that image that's behind starts to show through a lot more. But I actually don't want the image because the image is distracting from my logo, so I want that to be solid, so I'm going to keep it opaque. And the other thing you can change is the color of the navigation. So currently my navigation is set to black. Navigation is this bit here where it says about, services, resource and contact. These are linked to the different pages on my website, but I can change the color of those if I wanted. So again, it will bring up my color palette. I could change them to navy. I could change them to this coral pink. I think they're very readable and they stand out beautifully if I keep them black. So I'm going to keep them like that. Again, I can change the opacity of the text on my navigation if I wanted to, but I think bringing down the opacity just affects the readability, so I'm going to keep them opaque as well. And I've also got the option here to choose a completely custom color with the color picker if I wanted to. So that's the background color and the navigation color. I've also got the option to, if I toggle over to theme, I can actually just choose a color theme. So that means the background, the text, everything is already preset. So I could set it to light 1, and you can see that the background color is now pink, but the text is black. If I do light 2, that's the same. And bright 2, for example, you can see the background is now this beautiful coral pink. My buttons actually changed color. That's to do with the theme. But where it says finance on my logo, that's disappeared because that's the same color as the background. So that background's not going to work for me. So I'll keep it on the lightest one because you can see the logo, you can see the navigation, and the button stands out, and that looks beautiful. But if I go back to colour, you can play with the opacity here as well. So you can make it more transparent if you wanted to see the image in the background. You've also got the option to blur the background as well. So if I toggle that on just to show you, and it's little note here, it says blurred backgrounds are more noticeable when the opacity is lower. So let's just put the opacity a lot lower, and you can see that it's showing the image through, but it's blurry. So I guess it's a bit more readable with a blurrier background. So you can play with the opacity there, and you can actually play with the blur amount as well. It's almost like a translucent finish rather than completely transparent or completely opaque. But I don't want a blurry background. I just like the solid colour. So I'm going to make that back to opaque. Now, the third option within this menu is the gradient option, and that just gives you a faded kind of effect. So you can change the colour. It will start off with whatever your background colour is set here. Mine's set to off-white, so it starts off at off-white at the top and gradually fades into the image. So if I change that to this coral pink, you can see it starts with the coral pink and gradually fades into the image. Or I can change it to navy, or I can choose a completely custom colour here if I wanted to. Say I wanted green. I could do that if I wanted to. I don't really see gradient being used very often on websites. I tend to see adaptive or solid a little bit more. Adaptive is really nice if you have an image that's appropriate and that doesn't interfere with the logo or the readability up here. But solid is my preference for a header background. If you found this video useful, please remember to give it a like and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any other Squarespace tutorials. I'll leave a link to my Squarespace website checklist in the description box below. You can grab a copy for free. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all the best with your website.